Is Deontay Wilder jealous of Anthony Joshua? That's the question. In my honest opinion, the short answer is yes. But to expand on that, it's not on a physical level. I don't think Deontay sits down and looks at Joshua and thinks, "Ah, man, I wish I looked like him," or "I wish I was as tall as him," even though I know he's taller, or "I wish I was as muscle bound as him." Or I don't think he thinks that on a personal level. I'm talking about from a professional level, in and out of the ring. I think he is. I think he, in a cold light of day, when he goes home, the cameras are off. He's signed out of Instagram. His Twitter account's on standby. He lays his head on the pillow, and there's no one else around. I think he actually deep down thinks I should be in Joshua's position. Why is that? Well, he's been fighting for twice as long as Joshua, in years as well as the actual amount of fights. He's probably been a pro for about 10 years now, surely, maybe even a little bit more. And Joshua's only been fighting for 5 years. And he's got pretty much, twice the amount of fights. So why is he not positioned himself so he is the A side and Joshua is the young buck coming up trying to dethrone him? So it's quite weird it's the other way around. Because let's be honest, before Joshua won his first title from Charles Martin, how many UK fans could say hand on heart, even though they were boxing fans, hand on heart, they knew who Deontay Wilder was? Not that many. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was in a single digits figures in regards to percentage, and it wouldn't be that far off on the state side. I mean, we got a lot of what we call in the UK Johnny come latelys, where that basically interpretates as those who have only come around now that success is here or on the horizon. And the likelihood is that that success goes, then they will also go. So you got a lot of those fans. I mean, I call them Wildettes. There's pretty much no other name for them that's more perfect to describe them. They don't. They're not boxing fans in a whole. They just like the drama and all the trash talking and everything surrounding that comes with it. That's what they like. They're not actually interested in the actual fight itself. In fact, they watch very little boxing. But I digress. So back to the jealousy fund. I think Deontay's been actually very badly managed by his team. He has everything going for him in terms of um, being a global superstar. He's a black American born fighter in a heavyweight division during a period of time where the heavyweight division has really lacking any sort of real big personalities. It's not, 20 years ago where there was a full lineup, a full roster of, of likely charismatic champions, mostly them being American. So he speaks quite well, not from an articulate point of view, but I mean from the fact that he pretty much is going to say anything. He can't really control himself. And from an entertainment standpoint, you know, that's pretty good. I mean, in comparison to Joshua, Joshua's obviously very measured and he's very clever about what he says and how he says things. Was Wilder, I mean, he can have all the media training in the world. Once someone sticks a microphone in his face and the cameras start rolling, he's pretty much going to say whatever he feels to say, even when sometimes or more often than not he contradicts himself. But that's Wilder for you, I guess. But he has to look at his team and think, why am I not in that position? I'd be very surprised if he hasn't sat down with his team and asked that very question because he should be on top of the tree. Joshua should be that young buck who's looking to dethrone him. That's how the narrative should be. It should be Wilder with the three belts, Joshua with the one, and now Joshua is trying to dethrone a Deontay Wilder who's been at top of that pile for a long time, but it isn't the case. And only now Wilder has become quite relevant. And that is also very evident in sort of how the whole debacle around trying to get this fight made has come about. we've got Wilder using Instagram and Twitter and other social media platforms to, he's effectively got a bowl in his hand. And, have you ever seen a dog when it's hungry, when it grabs its bowl and it runs up to its owner and it just basically just sits there waiting for that bowl to be filled? I mean, that's essentially what Deontay's doing. You can disguise it however you want to, but the guy's looking to get paid. And that's fine. He's a prize fighter. But it's the way he's gone about doing it. And obviously now Miller, Big Belly Miller, he's also jumped on that as well, where, Joshua is now getting sniped from all these guys who, quite frankly, want to get paid. I don't blame them because you've got two options. One option is you fight Joshua and you get, at least five, two, three, four, five, 6+ mil guaranteed, and you get knocked out. Okay, but you got paid. Or you can fight Deontay and you're probably gonna get 2, 3, 4, 500 grand, and you're gonna get knocked out. I don't doubt Deontay will beat most of the heavyweights in this division, but the outcome is the same. So why would you be prepared to take less for the same outcome? And not only that, and that's just money. Not only that, Joshua has 3 of the belts. Wilder has 1. So any mandatory or another fighter sort of vying to become a mandatory, they're all queuing out for that Joshua money. And it's evident in the fact that the only other champion in Wilder is doing the same thing. I mean, he's effectively been using Joshua's name, profile, buzz, charisma, to promote himself. It's the same with this phantom 50 million Zimbabwe dollars, because for all we know, it could have been Zimbabwe dollars. We weren't allowed to look at the back, so I'm going to assume it was Zimbabwe dollars. But what he was hoping was Joshua would say, "Yep, I agree to the 50 mil," because he did have a video out there saying he will accept it. So it's not unreasonable for Deontay to think that he was going to. And then off the back of Team AJ accepted it, he would have probably ran around to every investor, slash sponsor, and beg, steal, and borrow that 50 mil to be able to deposit it to Joshua. And the only way he would have done that is basically by going to those people with that money, saying, "Look, Joshua's agreed, so why don't you put up some of those funds towards this fight?" And I can understand why Joshua will be thinking like, "Oh, hold on, I've done all the work. He's gone around and collected all the belts bar 1, and yet you're still using my name to be able to raise that capital." And it's obvious that Deontay doesn't have that money. Why? Well, he's never seen that sort of level of money. He's never paid himself that much. His team have never put that sort of money up to fight anybody else. I mean, they couldn't even get the Povetkin fight, and he had to end up going to Russia because of that. They couldn't even get the Martin fight, and Martin was for a tenth of what they're talking about offering Joshua. So why wasn't they able to do that then? Because obviously Martin doesn't generate that level of income for them to see a return on that, where Joshua does. Unfortunately for Joshua, he's had to overpay people to get them in the ring because they got what he wants, a belt. So if this fight was going to happen, then it's fair to say that Joshua's going to be doing most of the heavy lifting in terms of putting bums on seats and people paying for pay-per-views. And again, the only indication that I can use to verify that or to justify that claim is Wilder's never been a pay-per-view. He's never fought in Vegas for that matter either. I mean, it's only until his last couple of fights has he ventured out of Alabama for the most part. Whereas obviously Joshua is well known now that he fills 90,000 like that. He could probably fill more if there was a bigger venue. He is a pay-per-view in the UK only, and also globally he's beamed around the world. Whereas Wilder isn't. He isn't that global star. He's not generating that level of income up until now. So if it was $100 million fight, which most of these Wildettes are claiming, yet they have no trends to look back to indicate that's the case, then it will be because of Joshua. it will either be for one or two reasons. People want to see Joshua turn up and beat Wilder, or they want to see Wilder knock him out. Either way, it's because of Joshua. And that's why he deserves the lion's share of any pot that's generated because of this fight. And I don't think that's unfair. Um, yes, of course, AJ could pay Wilder a little bit more to get the fight done. But part of me sort of understands why he's not looking to overpay yet again for that last belt when Wilder has effectively done nothing. What Wilder should have done is actually grabbed one of the other belts in the time that Joshua was going around looking to do the same. Because it'll be a different argument if they're coming with two belts each. Because then, Wilder's bringing a little bit more to the table. Or he should have definitely have sort of arranged it before he fought Parker, because obviously Parker was holding one piece of the four belts, and AJ only had the two. So when AJ was negotiating with Wilder prior to fighting Parker, there were only the one belt difference between the two of them. So again, you could argue that Wilder can get a little bit more based on the fact that he's only got the one extra belt, but he didn't. He sat back, he waited to see what happened. He probably hoped that Parker would win, but that didn't happen. And now he's in a situation where everybody is buzzing around Joshua looking to get paid. If you're a heavyweight fighter right now, you're queuing up for that AJ money. It's not that dissimilar for what's happened with McGregor a couple of years ago, when you got fucking anyone in any weight division basically shouting out, yeah, I'll take that Conor fight. Why? Because they're going to get paid. I don't care if they even lose. If they lose and they've gone up, they'll just say, well, he's a bigger guy. And if they go down, they'll say that, I had to go through hell to go down a weight, but they got paid. And that's basically the same situation that we're in here. So to wrap things up, is Wilder jealous? Yeah, he is jealous. He may not admit it, but he should be in Joshua's position and he isn't. And he only has his team and himself to blame for that. But there's one way he can remedy that. Find his pen, sign the contract, and take the belts of him.